Michigan Man Camp.
Michigan Man Camp.
Michigan Man Camp.
Michigan Man Camp.
Michigan Man Camp. Michigan Man Camp.
Michigan Man Camp was amazing.
The experience I'll never forget.
I came here a 35-year-old young buck ready to take on the world. I left here a very sore 35-year-old man ready to take a nap.
We thought we knew each other pretty well, but after a week together, it's just amazing how good it is for father-son relationship.
Spending time with your dad and bonding, getting to know each other better, it was just great.
The whole week of teaching, challenges, how to work together as a team, building a relationship between mentor and mentee, it was phenomenal.
The greatest experience I had in my life. I enjoy trying new things and get to experience new challenges and new teachings.
I think we both learned some things about each other that we didn't know before. We both learned that we can do some things that we never thought we could do before.
I'm gonna have to take him out and teach him how to play some hoops sometime, because now I know he can take it.
Michigan Man Camp was awesome. If I could do it again, I would do it again. If I could do it again after that, I would do it again after that. Yeah, it was awesome.
We have the opportunity as fathers to father our children the way God fathers us, with an unconditional love, with a protective love, with an affirming love, and a strong hand of guidance to protect them and help them chart the course for their legacy.
That's a pleasant sound after the noise of man camp, buddy. It's nice just to ease it on down.
Relax a little bit.
Ease it on down. I can't believe it, man. It's over. The guys that packed up moved off, and thank the Lord it rained, but it rained this morning when we were leaving, buddy. Yeah. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, feeling energized and ready to take the tools that we talked about this week home and apply them to my kids.
Yeah, you only got like 10,000 kids at home, right?
Yeah, I got 10,000 kids at home, 11, 7, and twin 2 years old, 2-year-olds. So we're ready to roll.
Yeah, I bet they're missing Daddy.
Yeah, and I'm missing them. I'm looking forward to being with them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. How about you, Mr. Worship Leader? Fingers tired? You wore out? Are you okay?
I'm a little tired. It's been a little bit hard to be away from family and stuff, but it's been a good week. It's fun to play some music and share some songs with you guys and get out in the woods after being in the big city of LA for so long.
Yeah, dude, you were raised in the woods, man. You were raised in Michigan. Now you're in downtown LA. You told us something the other day. What was it about footsteps or whatever?
Well, it's just so loud downtown, you don't even hear your own feet stepping on the sidewalk. So I was walking in a quiet part of a LA suburb and couldn't figure out what that noise was and realized it's my feet on the sidewalk. It's been so long since it was quiet enough for me to actually hear that.
Wow, that's awesome. So did you get a little reconnecting, do you think, with your Michigan roots here over this week?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's been fun to do the little things, start a fire and walk through the woods and throw a rock into the water and little stuff like that. The things that you kind of don't get a chance to do living in a big city.
Yeah.
Kind of. It feels right when you do it, though.
Well, I remember seeing you do those things when you're about that high, and then that high, and that high, and now you're pretty much all growed up, man. But it's just awesome. I, as your dad, I was blessed just to watch you enjoy and recharge a little bit. I know it's hard out there. You're in the music industry, and so it's pretty stressful, maybe high pressure, and go. So I loved having you with me, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, man. What'd you think of this guy? Because you're kind of his older brother.
Yeah, I've known Chris since he was probably 8. Yeah. 8 years old when I came into this family. And it's just been neat to watch him grow, turn into the man that he is, man of God. And I've always called him little brother because that's what I've always seen him as. He's my family. So it's just neat to watch him become what he's become. And I remember when he first picked up this guitar, and remembering just watching him pick away on it and try to figure it out. And so now it's really neat to hear his music, and even neater to watch him lead people, lead men into the presence of God with that thing that he just a few years ago was just trying to figure out.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Well, let's do a little reflecting here, man. It feels so good just to sit down, you know, because it's been pretty fast paced. But give me a kind of a memorable moment, something that maybe you observed or whatever. What jumps out at you, buddy?
A memorable moment for me was the night where the fathers, all the men went around to the young men and we began to eulogize them. You talked about what a eulogy meant, that it meant to speak well of. And so we began to eulogize every young man. And what was neat was because all the men were watching these young men all week, we were paying attention to them whether we knew it or not.
Yeah.
We picked up some of their strengths and their character traits, and so it was really neat to walk by them and speak something into their life. But not only speak, but to see that it actually mattered what we said to them. Even though we may not have been their blood father or blood relative, it mattered to them that we noticed that they had some strengths.
Yeah.
And then to see their father speak directly to them, it was a really neat moment this week.
During that time, I paid particular attention to the faces of the young guys.
Yeah.
And I got around where I was kind of sitting, just letting that happen organically. I had to move, and I could see the faces of these young guys. And man, they just looked up, and they just soaked it in. And there wasn't a video game in the world that would have trumped that moment.
Exactly.
There wasn't any experience other than that. They were locked in on their fathers and their father figures that had come into their life. Man, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it reminds me of the scripture in the Bible where Jesus was baptized. And there was a voice that, cracked the skies, and God began to speak, and he had the attention, of course, of his son and all of creation at that time. And I think for those young men, it was one of those moments, where their father's voice just broke through the clouds of their lives and spoke and said, "This is who you are. You're my son, whom I love, and with you I'm well pleased with."
How about you, buddy? Any memorable moments for you?
Well, I thought it was cool. Like the high ropes course was really, really fun. I mean, that was like just a cool experience. It was fun to like see how everyone responded to a pressure situation, And I thought what was so fun to observe is the different approaches to the ropes course. We're 30 feet in the air, which is a pretty high. It's a high height for sure, but we're all attached to this safety harness above us, and so just to watch the people that were able to just kind of focus on the fact that I'm tied in, there's nothing that can go wrong, and some people just ran across that thing, and for other people it was more of a challenge, to overcome the fear, of heights. But everyone did it. Everyone did a great job, and then to be able to even use that as a picture for life of. The only way that you can fail on the high ropes course is just to quit, stop.
Yeah.
Even if you fall off, you haven't died, you haven't fallen to the ground, you're not beyond saving. All you have to do is get back on that wire, because that harness is there to save you. And so I think that's just a really cool picture, one that I hope I never forget. Is that the only way to fail is to quit. You don't have to ever fail, because we are safe. We do have peace. We do have that safety harness that keeps us from ever hitting the ground too hard, or falling too far.
That's good. Awesome. And you beasted it. You see this dude?
Oh yeah.
He's just kind of standing. Next thing I know, he looks like the Mad Baker from Vienna or something. He's got this thing on his head.
When you're at man camp, not only do they push you to your physical limits, but they also push you emotionally, relationally, and they don't mind making you look a little silly.
Wow.
I don't know why I have to wear a hairnet to climb a rock climbing wall, but apparently that's part of the deal.
All right, here we go.
It's a good thing I look really good in this helmet.
There's not a whole lot of acrobats that are 6'7", buddy, but you look good.
Yeah, you made it through it.
Yeah, I made it through it. I don't know that any of us looked all that good. No one looks cool on the high rope course.
Yeah. All coolness goes out the window at that point, I'm sure.
Yeah. The moment you put on a hairnet, you're not cool anymore.
Yeah.
It's man camp, though. We pulled it off.
That's right.
The guys pulled it off. I loved it, man. We who was up there? Oh, Chris was up there. Chris, and he's up there, and big fella's down here who already made it through, and he's kind of listening, and he's hearing him make these sounds like, well, give me the sound. What was he saying?
Well, then I'm gonna send him up there. You know what's going
And Chris gave me some great wisdom when he came down.
Okay.
He said, Brian, don't go up there. Chris Jackson gave me some great wisdom. Do not go up there.
Yes. The Lord said, "Lo, I'm with you always."
That's right.
And so
low,
you and
not
I
high.
stayed low. Yeah, we
low,
didn't go up
not
high.
high.
No, that's good.
It's no pressure. It's no pressure. It's no pressure at all. You don't have to do this. Hey, no one's making you. Okay?
No one is making you do anything. But you'll be good.
I'll hold his legs.
Nobody's making you do this.
This is completely voluntary.
It's all about choice. It's all about choice.
I'm just saying, man, it's not going to be Pastor Ron, pray for me.
Let me ask you this. Think about all the guys, old guys, young guys. Anybody stand out to you? Anybody that you just think about and you go, yeah, that interesting guy for some reason?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like Pastor Ron is just awesome. You know, he's a great guy. He's obviously very wise, a lot of depth to him, you know, but there's still like this childlikeness that wants to, you know, race the young guys or do all the fun stuff or beat someone out at basketball or, you know, it's just cool. I mean, he's telling me about a mission trip that he took recently and wanted to race these kids. You know, ends up blowing out his calf muscle racing these kids.
That's Pastor Ron.
And he laughs about it now, you know, and like, you know, I was like, "Did you go to the doctor?" He's like, "No, not really." You know, and it's just him. He just keeps on moving forward and having fun. It didn't stop him from doing anything, just enjoying life, you know. And I think that's like something that's really cool about him is just he's a really unique blend of the deep and also the, you know, the lightheartedness, you know, that sometimes life can choke out of some of the older guys, you know, just because of the stress. But yeah, he's an awesome guy.
P-Ron, how about you, brother? When you think about man camp in Michigan, is there any individual that just kind of stands out to you?
Yeah, I would say Taylor. Taylor really stuck out to me. Phenomenal young man. This was my first time meeting Taylor, knowing that Taylor battles with autism, and to watch him and who he is as a person at this camp. Wow, what a person of great courage. What a humble person. What a friendly person. I told one man about in regards to Taylor, I said, if I went out to battle, I'd take that guy with me. Because he would, if I was injured, he'd make sure I got out of there alive. Taylor was just a phenomenal person. I think his life, and just watching him this week, he probably has no idea how much he ministered to the men here. I know he ministered to me a lot. His life and the way he carried himself this week spoke volumes to me. And watching him up on that high rope and watching the men come around him, the courage that it took for him to even go up there and do that. He was just fearless. But I think he lives his life like that. I really do. I think what we saw up there, it's just him on a day-to-day basis facing challenges and overcoming them because he's had to.
At first I was nervous and it was very challenging. When I stepped on the first two, they were okay. I was well balanced. I had to take my time and slow down. It was difficult a little bit for me. It was very hard and challenging.
put them on our shoulders. Well, I shouldn't say we. It kind of Aaron Avil kind of carried them by himself. We were just there looking like, but we put them on our shoulders and just carried him off, man, like a champion. And he deserved that, though. It was really neat, and it was really neat to see the men rally around Taylor. He received the name this week, Sheriff Taylor, because he's running things around here, man.
Isn't that awesome?
That's right.
Yeah.
But then at the end, when I swung to the zip line, it was the end. People were carrying me, people were cheering me on. I felt like a champion.
We had a phenomenal group of men and sons and spiritual sons. One that stands out to me is Smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth and his dad came from another country just to be with us. We had guys from all over our country, but they came from another country just to be with us. So I think there was a little intimidation. He was a little shy, 16-year-old, big strapping young guy.
Yeah.
A little shy, a little quiet, and the moment I remember was him on the climbing wall. That climbing wall was crazy, dude. You know, it's crazy. And he's a tall guy. He was like you. He's a tall guy.
Yeah.
And he just kind of strapped up, and we talked to him beforehand. Remember, we talked to him beforehand.
Yeah.
How you doing? I'm okay. Just real mellow, real gentle. Next thing I know, he just kind of does Spider-Man up the wall.
Yeah.
And guys are cheering. It was awesome.
Yeah, he says he loves it. He says he loves it. His dad, obviously, Big Daddy Smooth.
Big Smooth, Dad Smooth.
Yeah. He's quite the wild man too. When they did the zip line, he decided he would go upside down.
Upside down?
Upside down
I
zip
bet
line.
that pleased the staff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they were. Yeah, very excited about it.
We apologize for that.
The Smooths were awesome. That's what we named them. The Smooths. They were awesome, friendly people, and it was really neat to hear how they had even ended up here at Dad Camp.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, how did they get here? They saw TV for Dads somewhere?
They saw TV. I was asking. They said we watched TV for Dads in the country they lived in, and said, you know what? They wanted to get some information about when we were going to be doing it again, and they ended up here in Michigan at Man Camp here, and so they were a welcome piece of our family, and a new addition, great new addition to
that's
Man
awesome.
Camp.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Brian, for the opportunity to come to Man Camp, and the experience is a great time. And I brought a little gift for you from Canada, and if you can't see it, it's bacon soap, so you can smell like Man Camp for weeks to come. And I'm sure your wife will appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
I am blessed. Thank you, buddy.
God bless.
And we hear from people all over the world right now. They're seeing the show, lots of different networks, and it's just so cool. Guys, it's striking a chord, all right?
Yeah.
We've gone too long. It's almost like God didn't deal with things in the Old Testament until the fullness of the sin of this group. Whatever. Well, I just believe the fullness of this nonsense of not taking care of our sons and our daughters, it's over.
That's right.
And God is raising up people and individuals and ministries and places like this beautiful Camp Timbers, the Y Camp up here in northern Michigan, just to help these young people to move forward.
That's right.
So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. So, Chris, what activity was the one that you were most drawn to here? Because there was a lot of them, but what'd you really like?
I mean, I think the high ropes course was probably my favorite thing. It was just fun. It was a fun challenge. Fun to do something that you don't usually get a chance to do on a daily basis or even a yearly basis. It's such a unique experience, and fun to feel the rush of adrenaline, over something that is kind of a scary scenario. Just being able to overcome that and still push yourself to do something that makes you a little uncomfortable. Because that's kind of life. Life's full of some uncomfortable situations.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that was fun. That was a really fun scenario to be in, and just be able to conquer that little bit of fear, that little bit of stress of I have to step down on a little tiny wire,
Yeah.
And it was great. That was a really fun time.
Awesome. You did good. B, how about you? What experience, activity?
Yeah, the archery. was absolutely awesome. I haven't done that many times in my life, so that was something neat to experience. And then, initially I missed the target quite a bit, but
did you just admit that? We're
missed,
filming this.
Yeah, initially I did. I remember when I was a little boy, my mother told me that, Brian, when you grow up, you got to be good at something. And I have just discovered that it's not this. I am not good at bow and arrows. Thank you.
Oh man, that was a great shot. That was a bullseye.
but after a couple of tries, I could hear the guys screaming, Mark! Because I was hitting the mark, buddy. I was hitting the mark. And we even had one young man, Marcus, Marcus. He hit a bullseye.
Really?
Yeah, I think
the center of the mark.
He hit the center of the mark, and I think he may have been the only person this week to have a bullseye.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it was pretty neat to watch him do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, the guys got better. They got better. But I mean, initially the archery was real scary. There were deer and raccoons were just screaming and running on the backside of the target.
Initially I had it pointed towards me like this, and I was asking him, is this supposed to come towards me? Yeah. No, turn that around, Pruitt. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Good thing you had the safety on.
Yeah.
City guy, come on. Yeah. I think mine was riding horses. It's a big part of my life. I don't get to ride often, but some of my best memories is being in the Rocky Mountains on horseback, going up there chasing critters around and being up there above the clouds at times. And so just to get on a horse, the smell, the feel, it's a beautiful thing for me. Yeah. And just got to work with Alan, the guy that's just the master with horses. It was really, really cool. Very restorative for me. It's kind of weird. Got the helmet on with the GoPro, so we're getting shots, around us. But it just was beautiful. It restored me, even in the midst of this, because it's a little intense, what we're doing here. So, but that was good. Yeah.
One of the things that stands out to me about fatherhood is just making sure I understand the importance of balancing my time. And I think I do a pretty good job of balancing the time with myself, my wife, and my other kids, but more importantly, balancing the time that I spend individually with Brennan, making sure that we have set time aside where we can go out and do some things as men.
I learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about what it takes to be a good dad, to improve as a father, to pass on good things in my box onto my children so that they can grow up and pass good things onto their children.
Being a good father means not only you need to spend a lot of quality time with your kids, but one thing that really stood out to me was the definition of a eulogy. And I realize I probably don't speak enough into my sons, but a eulogy isn't meant for just a funeral. It's really something that we need to speak into our kids regularly to build them up, and that's something that I will walk away with better prepared to do from here on out.
Even years ago when I did camp back in my childhood days, it was nothing like this. Michigan Man Camp to me is knowing that whatever happens to me, no matter what I do, if I'm ever missing from the picture, my son always has a father, that there's other fathers here that will pick up the gap for me.
Being able to minister to your family first, I think is key before you can minister to anybody else. So it just made me understand and made me realize that God will lead the multitude to come back to minister to me.
You decide your destiny. You decide your limits as a man, and you have to look beyond yourself to your family, to those around you, and not let life limit you, and not let your emotions limit you, and not even let your spiritual condition limit you, because the only limit that you have is the limit you put on yourself.
Too many times in my past I have allowed my issues to speak for me instead of speaking what Christ has put in me, and just knowing that I need to do the same for my boys, that I need to leave the multitude, leave everything behind, and seek after the heart of my children, and know that they are more important than the multitude around me.
What's next for you? Tell me a little bit about you. What are you doing, man? Your ministry and so on. What's going on?
What's next for us is, a little bit about our boys program, Power Dad.
Yeah.
We take 25 fatherless boys, ages 12 to 18 years of age, And over a 9 months period, we teach them 22 life skills that their fathers were not there to teach them. And so here in the next 4 weeks, we will be launching another program where we'll be taking another 25 boys on a journey to manhood and healing the wound of fatherlessness. And what we've seen is this: when that wound can be healed, it gives those young men an opportunity to grow up and be great men and great fathers. And this is how you break that curse. You got to love it away. You got to heal the pain.
Awesome, buddy. Beautiful. Well, you're doing a great work.
Thank you, Papa.
A great work. Yeah. How about you, big boy? You're heading back to LA, and what's your vision, man? This thing is it's quite a gift God's given you. What's your vision for music, man?
It's a great question. Still trying to figure that out. I love writing songs. I love performing. I love kind of sharing those songs with people, and even finding I love playing with a band. Finding musicians that you connect with on a heart level, people that you consider friends, but also are very talented at what they do, and to be able to share that on stage and connect musically in a way that it brings something new to the songs you've written, on your own in the bedroom, which is the guitar. That's a really special thing. So,
awesome.
So I don't know, just trying to figure out how that all will shape together and work out. But yeah, I love doing music.
Awesome. Well, somebody's going to sign you real soon, buddy. I know you've got a couple of albums you've already done, a couple of EPs, and yeah, I believe God's got some pretty big plans for you. Your music and your voice are incredible, and the worship that you led for the men was phenomenal. It was a big part of the deal. So I really thank you for coming, man.
Thanks.
As for me, TV4DADS and Malachi Global Foundation, we're going to keep going, man.
Yeah.
We're going to keep going. We're getting invitations to come to different parts of the world to film some of these different series. Mm-hmm. And we've got plans already in the works to go to places like Alaska and Australia and different places. A little sneak preview. Do not tell anybody. Don't tell a soul.
Okay.
But I'm kind of planning on a father-daughter retreat here as well in the near future.
All right.
Come
awesome.
on now.
Awesome.
Yeah, but just keep that in your heads, right? But this is my life. It is my calling. I've raised my 4 children, and they're all doing great. I've got 3 grandbabies that I need to pour into, but there's nothing. It's like that's been said. I feel the pleasure of the Lord when we do things like this, to bring men together, and especially fathers and sons, fathers and daughters. It is the high point of my life. I would gladly pour out my life to see some other dad connect with their sons, their daughters, and their spiritual children. So we ain't gonna quit. A lot of good things yet to come. Do me a favor, man, before we got to pack up and drive on home, just play a little more, will you?
Sure.